Back when we were talking about encoding, we saw that you could take a variant of Mo with just functions and function calls, that is, just with lambda and application, and encode anything else you might need. For example, pairs we could encode using this function that took an x and a y, and then the selector, and then first just calls a pair function with true, and second calls a pair function with false. In a typed world, this only sort of works. It works if you want pairs of integers and integers, and here we're even just taking advantage of booleans to avoid a selector function. Or if you want a pair of booleans, take two booleans, so we have the booleans that go in the pair and the boolean that selects them, and then the one that we selected out here in the encoding of pair. But what if you want a pair that has an integer and a boolean inside? And now it's not so straightforward, because the problem is you give it a selector and the selector is going to return one of those, but there's no type that we can put here that would be okay, because we either return an integer or a boolean in this case. There are further encodings that can kind of make this work, but the punchline more generally with type systems is that often we need to add things into the language instead of encoding them so that we can express their type rules more directly. So if I wanted to have pairs in my language, I might add it to the grammar of expressions, and I could also add a type to represent pairs, and that is the star type here, or cross is how I'll pronounce that. So I have a type cross another type. That means a pair whose first part is this type and whose second part is the other type. And the type rule for that would be if I have a pair of E1 and E2, then as long as E1 has a type tau1 and E2 has a type tau2, then the type of the pair expression is tau1 cross tau2. And if I want first of some expression, that expression needs to have a pair type, tau1 cross tau2, and the result, of course, is going to be of type tau1, whereas second, the result is of type tau2. So those are the type rules you would need to add pairs into our typed variant of Mo.